Well, I got my latest videos thumbnail grid up. Rudimentary, like everything else, but it's not terrible. I want to make the titles kind of an overlay on the thumbnails instead of having them right beneath, which is what they are now. I even made it so that the grid will only show a maximum of 3 rows by making that an explicit row template, and then setting implicit rows or auto rows to a height of 0. And it works pretty well. The only wrinkle is if the grid has a gap, each of those empty or those 0 height rows will still take up space. You know, there will still be a gap for each of them. So it adds up. I'm fetching the 8 most recent uploads. It's kind of windy. I'm fetching the 8 most recent uploads. So on mobile sizes, that means that, there's 1 per row, so there's 3 rows, so there's 5 extra rows. I can't use gap, so instead I put a margin around each grid item. It works pretty well. Now all of a sudden I'm wondering why those wouldn't accumulate either, or as well. I guess since the height is 0, they just overlap. So there is probably, the margin's 3 pixels on each side. There probably is a 3 or 6 pixel extra for those rows, but all of them overlap. So hello, hey pups. So it's it's barely noticeable. I got incremental fetching implemented on the GitHub loader and almost on the YouTube loader. It's like the simplest possible implementation, but I still think it's going to cut my API usage by well over half. But there's plenty of ways it could still be optimized. The GitHub one still, if a repository's been updated, it still fetches all of the commits for that repository. So that's probably the biggest optimization that needs to be made, is to stop doing that. For the YouTube one, I remembered something that's been a long time since I used myself, but I've seen some examples of it recently. Async generators. So it's perfect for going through like an API a page at a time and checking each page to see for a condition. And so that's how I implemented the YouTube one. And if I bring that same idea to the GitHub loader, it should be really simple to optimize that so that I'm only fetching well, actually it's even easier because on GitHub you don't even have to check. You just have to put a since parameter in the query string. So yeah, I mean it would be really straightforward to optimize that. I think I'm officially kind of moving on. I'm going to leave the Days project, or switch my focus from it. I'll just, if something's really nagging at me, I'll fix it up, but otherwise I'm going to switch my focus to some other things. And yeah, so anyway.